Iliman Ndiaye views Manchester United as a dream club. He presses high, he carries the ball into the final third, and he can create off the dribble. Three things that Manchester United are in desperate need of right now. The question is simple. Is he actually worth it? That's exactly what we're going to break down in this video. So I've made it very clear on this channel that I think Manchester United are lacking two major things in the profiles that they currently have in their side. Number one is a progressive passer. Number two is an elite ball carrier. Iliman Ndiaye fixes the latter. And you may be watching this video thinking, Gabe, why would we need to look at an Iliman Ndiaye when we already have Matheus Cunha, we already have a Brian Mbeumo, and we already have an Ahmad? Well, number one, it is never a bad thing to have a ton of depth in your side. And number two, I think Ndiaye adds a little something different than what Manchester United's wide players currently have. And in this video, I wanted to go over exactly what that is. So the thing with Ndiaye is he's not necessarily an out-and-out touchline winger. He is also a player who likes to drift centrally, which I do know is a cause of concern when people talk about this player joining Manchester United, because the last thing that Manchester United need right now is another player who is going to occupy those central spaces, especially in the final third. But I actually think Ndiaye is quite unique compared to what United currently have, because he's someone who can create separation solely off a dribble in the central areas and in the wide areas, and I want to walk through that right now. So in this still, you can see he's receiving the ball quite central, and there are players who are ready to close him down. What I really like about Ndiaye is even when he's playing with his back facing the opposition's goal, he's very quick to be able to get his hips into a position where he's facing the opposition. So he can go from receiving with a player on his back to standing them up quite quickly, and it's because of how quick he is with his feet. So you can see he's received with his back towards the opposition. Now he's facing his opposition marker up, but there's still a problem. There are three players around him. It is a 3v1. This is a very difficult situation to be in, but because he has that burst, because he has that ability, like I mentioned earlier, to create separation off of a dribble, I want to see more oftentimes when United are in the final third, whoever's on the ball, look to take on their man. A lot of time it's side-to-side passing, and it'll be a brilliant final ball from a Cunha or an Mbeumo or an Ahmad or a Bruno that creates the scoring chance for Manchester United. I want to see more dribblers. I want to see more get on the ball and have the courage to go from here. Instead of going backwards here and recycling possession, have the ability and the courage, like I said, to be able to take this dribble on. Now Everton are in the final third, and now they can look to score a goal. And we have seen the experiment of Ahmad on the left side. We have seen Cunha and Mbeumo swap flanks. And the reality is simple for me. Ahmad is a right-sided player, Mbeumo is a right-sided player, and Cunha is either a left winger or a player who's going to play more in the half spaces. What I like about Ndiaye is, sure, he does like to occupy those central zones, but he is more than comfortable picking up the ball in wide areas, and he can go either way. He can go to the outside, or he has the ability to carry into central zones and create chances for himself and his teammates. Again, I think Manchester United are really lacking that player who's going to get on the ball and just dribble past 2-3 players. Matheus Cunha, like I said, he does have it, but I don't know if he has it to the level that Iliman Ndiaye does. So look at where Ndiaye picks up the ball. Here, he is still a long way to go from goal, and he ends up getting all the way into the 18-yard box. Another thing I love about Ndiaye is he's comfortable using his right foot. He's comfortable using his left foot. He then, again, creates a little bit of separation, just enough off the dribble, gets it towards goal, and this actually ends up in a beautiful left-footed goal from Ndiaye. When he's all the way in this zone here, the ability to be able to carry from here all the way into the 18 and then have the ability and the composure to shift it onto his weaker foot and score a goal, I think this would be a really useful profile for Manchester United to have. And I've spoken a lot about body manipulation on this channel, and Ndiaye does that to a very high level. So you can see Doucouré is carrying the ball, and Ndiaye knows if my first touch isn't any good here, I am going to get closed down extremely fast. So what does he do? One touch. One touch, the ball gets played into his feet from Doucouré. One powerful touch on the inside. He makes this midfielder bite as well, and with one powerful touch, he has broken past both of them. And just like that, once again, Everton are able to get into the final third and create a chance. Having a player who can create solutions off of one touch, especially when their back is facing the opposition, I think it is key. Manchester United do not have that to the extent that they need, and it would be a major plus for me in regards to signing this player to play for Manchester United next season. It's also refreshing to see a player who, when they are carrying into the final third and they're going to create a shooting opportunity for themselves, they have the ability to go either way. So here you can see Dragusin knows that he has to continue to peel off, doesn't want to commit too early because Ndiaye has the quality, if you will, to go either side. He can go this way or he can go this way. Calvert-Lewin is obviously doing a really good job of just staying wide, continuing to make the run, keeping, I can't even tell who this is, honest. Ndiaye continues to carry. Again, it comes down to the confidence in the way that this player plays. He plays with a ton of confidence. He always believes that he can take anybody on in a dribble, which I love from attacking-minded players. I can't stand the idea that in today's game, wingers always looking to pass to the fullback and, recycle possession. I want to see wingers who want to take on their man and beat them on a dribble and then beat them again on a dribble. But he's not just a dribbler. When he gets in these areas, he also puts the ball in the back of the net like he does in this still here. So his ability to carry, to go either side, and then to finish on his left foot, which is his weaker foot. A lot of quality from Ndiaye. And lastly, I wanted to talk about this little moment here. And we've seen time and time again in the Premier League how well teams defend as a structure. You can argue that never in the history of the Premier League have teams been so organized and so understanding of everything that they're doing when they're defending, especially the teams towards the bottom of the table. They really know how to set up a block and they really make it difficult to break that block down. And people will talk and talk and talk about the tactics. And of course, the tactics are important. But the reality is your tactics are only as good as the players that you have. And if you have players who can create solutions against a deep block and break through that deep block, that's really what's going to make the difference. And in Ndiaye, he has the quality to make the difference in the final third. So you can see here he has picked up the ball and just look at the amount of bodies that the opposition has in and around the ball. There is a lot. There's a lot. Ndiaye with a powerful first touch. Again, you can see here he's taking the ball this way, takes a really good first touch. He is so good at keeping the ball extremely close to his feet. Powerful in holding off the defender. He's rapid, he's strong. And once again, he gets it onto his left foot and he just bends it around the keeper, bends it towards the far post and scores. So this has nothing to do with tactics or the way that teams set up when it comes to the offensive side of the game. You can see he has picked up the ball and he is just better than the players around him. He drives with a very strong first touch, creates just enough separation and just enough distance. Look how tight the marker is, but just enough distance for him to get the shot off. It's the little details, as we always talk about on this channel, that are important. And I feel like Ndiaye does those details really, really well. So what could it look like for Manchester United? Well, I think there could be moments where you'd see Ndiaye on the right side with maybe Sesko up front and a Mateus Cunha playing on the left side. I think there are moments where you could see Ndiaye over here with Mbumo on the right side or with Diallo on the right side. What I do know is I think it's important for United to prioritize getting fullbacks who are consistently able to get on the overlap. I know that Luke Shaw can do it, but if you can sign a left back who's going to consistently create these overloads in the wide areas, which forces the fullback to go out to him to block across, I think a player like Ndiaye could really excel. Again, the amount of times that we've seen Bruno Fernandes in the final third shift out into these half channels here, swap with Cunha, because we know Bruno likes to play these little crosses just in these half channels here outside the box. But Ndiaye can essentially operate in any one of these zones. He's comfortable in the central areas, he's comfortable in the wide areas, and he is comfortable in the half spaces as well. I think this is a player who offers a lot, especially like I mentioned, when teams are playing in a very deep block. Let's say we're playing against a team that are playing with a 5-3-2 or a 5-2-3. You need players, one, who are going to be able to break the lines and get the ball to your forward players. But you also need players who, even when they're marked by three players, they have the ability to open and find spaces. And when they do receive the ball, not only can they find those pockets of space, but now can they get on the half turn and run at the opposition. And I really do think that because Ndiaye has that quality, he would be an incredible signing for Manchester United. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think this is a signing that is worth it for Manchester United? For me, I'm going to be completely honest. Because I love watching players like Ndiaye who will take risks, take chances, lose the ball, get the ball, and do it again and again and again. This is a player, especially at the right price tag, that you go and sign. Only 26 years of age, Senegalese international, has proven that he can hang in the Prem. When you look at the stats compared to Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo, Ndiaye does have the least amount of goals out of the three of them, but obviously big differences when it comes to the amount of chances he's getting playing for Everton compared to playing for Manchester United. The same assists per game as the two front players for Manchester United as well, but he has more expected assists than Matheus Cunha and just under the expected assists compared to Brian Mbeumo. For me, this is a player with a ton of quality. I do understand that maybe Manchester United are looking for a more out-and-out winger, and if that is the case, then I'm not exactly sure this is the right signing. But for me, like I said, Prem proven at a very good age, wants to move, very versatile. I think there are a ton of green flags in this signing, and I would do it in a heartbeat this summer. But as always, I want to hear what you think in the comments down below. So remember to leave your comments down below. Tell me who you would sign if not for him. And as always, remember to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you really like it. Remember to hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so I would really, really appreciate it. That's it for this one. I'll chat to y'all again very soon. Until next time, peace.